Welcome back to the K-Files. We're kicking off a 10-episode-long investigation into serial killers on the show today, starting with Pusher. Welcome back to the Lush Basement Office. I'm your host, Katie.
And I'm your co-host, Griselda, and we're coming at you from HollywoodRedux.com.
Yeah, we're investigating Pusher today on the show. Yikes. AKA the one where Skinner gets his ass kicked again.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast for itself, man. Yeah. But yeah, that's an episode that...
Well, like in the third season, around this time, third season, Skinner gets a lot of violence perpetrated on his body.
Hey, man, he's just trying to help out. I don't understand why they're coming after my dude, man.
Yeah, I know. Poor Holly took him down.
Yeah. What was up with that?
It didn't sit too well with Mitch Pileggi that little Holly took Skin Man down.
Got his ass kicked, dude.
Yikes. But that was like one of the light...
Hilarious. Please continue. I'm so sorry.
No, I agree. I'm Mitch Pileggi. I was not.
I love it, man. I'm so enthused.
Sorry. Yeah.
Still waiting for that beer.
I believe it's coming.
2017.
Yeah. Believe in love. No, but I mean that's kind of on the lighter side of what happens in this episode.
Yeah,
a lot of really messed up things happen. Yeah, cerulean blue, very creepy.
I'll never forget that.
Robert Patrick Modell, one of the creepiest serial killers in all of X-Files history.
I think one of the coolest too.
Yeah, I think he's really interesting. Well, what I like about him is that he is Mulder's shadow, Mulder's foil.
Yeah, that was really cool. He's worthy adversary.
Yeah, no, he is, sort of this dark figure that is exactly like Mulder's duality, where Mulder had, faced a lot of adversity, but doesn't necessarily, like, things from the outset look like he should have a lot of luck because he's a good-looking guy. He went to Oxford, he was the top profiler at Quantico, and, when he was training in the FBI. And so, I think it's always interesting on the show when that's explored, where you see that Mulder is, from the outside should be like living this perfect life, but faces a lot of adversity. He lost his sister. That was a big source of pain. And it took him on this whole other path where maybe he once would have been an assistant director at the FBI, like on a par with Skinner. Now he's, a pariah.
We wouldn't have the X-Files.
Right. Well, he had to follow. I mean, he had to follow.
Sorry, man. Your set is
right. But anyway, yeah, no, totally. But you see that, but Modell is kind of an interesting foil to that, because he lies, he puts on that front to make it sound like he has this pedigree, but actually the truth is that no, he's just a sociopath, really. Scully kind of sums it up, the little man who wanted to feel big. So, whereas, Mulder is a big man who maybe feels a little small just because of his experiences. It's kind of an interesting, so you get to see like a little fun stuff for Mulder's character. Plus, I don't think there's any more dramatic scenes in all of X-Files than that Russian roulette scene in the hospital. For the characters.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
I was sitting at the edge of my seat. I was watching
Very edgy.
episode, man.
Very
edgy.
God. Fox didn't want Russian roulette to appear on television, even though it had been in films such as The Deer Hunter and, other things.
It's a classic move.
Yeah, very tense. And filmed beautifully by Rob Bowman, I might add, who we always talk about him on the show because he directs so many episodes. He is the utility player of the show. And I think he does this thing so beautifully, which is when you have the two character, Mulder and Scully's faces, so close together, like when they're on the phone with Pusher. And they're both so close together in close proximity to each other, and he just frames them so like beautifully and elegantly, and it's just, even though they're working on a case together, it's so romantic. It's like this, epic romance, and very noir-y too. This episode, the score was a little noir-y, had some saxophone kicking in a little bit from Mr. Mark Snow. We always appreciate the nuance. And written by, of course, Vince Gilligan and Chris Carter. The dynamic duo. When those two team up, what they write,
it's usually a powerhouse. Yeah,
some of the best when executed so elegantly by Mr. Bowman. Some fine artistry on the show, I tell you what. Some really fun things from the art department in this episode that we have to point out, such as when Modell, we see him in the beginning and he's reading that tabloid magazine.
Yeah, dude, it's the Fluke Man. He gets to see the Fluke Man. Oh, what a great, little...
So there's the hand-drawn image of the Fluke Man. It says, apparently his body washed up on shore in Martha's Vineyard.
What a good
That's
episode,
what the thing says.
The host, man.
Yeah, remember that? Season 2, Fluke Man?
See?
He's dead. His body washed up on shore. There you go. That's the fate
go.
of the Fluke
if you
Man
ever wondered.
revealed. Yeah.
Just found out.
Sad fate. Yeah. So that was really fun, and the team, the art team on the X-Files, headed by art director Graham Murray, they came up with a lot of tabloids over the years. I remember there was also, they put a cast or a crew member into some kind of gorilla costume or something. There's another tabloid with a cover that involved
what a great little Easter egg, man.
Yeah.
You could be in the X-Files like that? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they came up with lots of
fun.
tabloids.
Dude, this whole episode was really good. I really like this guy as the monster, though. Like,
he's a scary monster.
He's so maniacal in, so many ways where he's so devilish. He doesn't have to do much. Like you said, I didn't do it. They pretty much killed themselves. Like, what a badass move. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Get away with a murder? Are you kidding me?
I was reminded of, if you watched recent Netflix series Jessica Jones, the bad guy on that, Kilgrave, it reminds me very much watching The Pusher after having seen Jessica Jones. I was like, oh my God, he's like, very much a Kilgrave, where Kilgrave you have to do whatever he says. So whenever you do something crazy, like kill somebody or hurt yourself or whatever, it's like you did it to yourself, very much like what happens to Modell's victims.
Dude.
So where it's like, oh, they did it themselves. So it's hard to prosecute. So it's a similar thing, and where it's like a man, lying to people. Like, oh yeah, it's like, ooh, cool stuff.
Dude, some of these deaths on the episode,
pretty gruesome. Yeah. Another fun little Easter egg. If Foo Fighters fans are watching, Dave Grohl and his wife pop up in the back of the hospital at one point. You have to watch it. Maybe we'll find it and put it up.
Are they big X-Files fans? Is that what it is?
Well, Foo Fighters is a slang for UFO. So yeah, no, Dave Grohl is a huge fan of.
Well, there you go.
Ye old flying saucers. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a very cool episode.
Dave Grohl's awesome, man.
It's a great introduction to this character, Robert Patrick Modell, who pops up again later on in the 5th season, an episode called Kitsunagari, which we're doing next week. We're investigating next week. So we're taking Modell all the way through to his eventual conclusion. In this episode, we think we've reached the end, and he's been shot by Mulder in the head. It's seemingly, he's in a coma, he'll never wake up. But that's how we say goodbye to villains on the X-Files sometimes. And they don't die. They never die. They don't ever die. You think like, oh yeah, they're shot in the head.
What?
Surely they can't,
hold on,
get up and start killing again. Sometimes that happens though.
Well, you know what? I'm not really that surprised. I just lied. X-Files. Actually, no. I am curious to see how they bring him back though, if that's the case. If that's even a possibility in the X-Files, which it always is.
Well, the thing we know about Pusher the most is that his will is mighty. So where there's a will, there's a way, and we find out what his will is to live
to describe it
in Kitsunagari next week when we'll be back on the show again. All right, well, that wraps things up for Pusher. Very excited to talk to you about Kitsunagari next week and find out what happens to Mr. Modell. I'm your host, Katie. You can find me at KMoles on social media.
I'm your co-host, Crizal. You can find me at Crizal on all social medias, and we're coming at you from HollywoodRedux.com.
Yes, please check out ReduxGear.com, our little store. We have lots of cool t-shirts. All of Crizalia's art is on it, so check it out. And we'll be back next week with Kitsunagari. Thank you for watching. The truth is already here.
See you guys.
Thank you so much for watching. You see that mouse right next to you? How about you click over there to subscribe to this page, and then check out our store where you can get this pretty sweet shirt right over here. Then move the mouse over to see more content. And you know what? While you're at it, move the mouse over and give us a follow. And then move the mouse over and give us a like. Come on, just do it. We both know you want to.